While the world's billionaires race to the moon, one country is asking a different question. What if true wealth isn't about more money, but more happiness? In a world obsessed with GDP, Bhutan is trending. They are proving that a nation can thrive by prioritizing well-being, not just bank accounts. And it forces us to ask, are we missing the point of progress? Let's look at the headlines. You see it everywhere. Countries boasting about record growth and booming economies. But look closer at the streets. People are stressed and burning out. The environment is suffering, and the gap between the rich and the poor is getting wider. We are working longer hours to buy things we don't need to impress people we don't like. If the numbers are so good, why does everything feel so difficult? This happens because we measure success with a ruler that is broken. It is called GDP, or Gross Domestic Product. Invented back in the 1930s, GDP is basically a giant calculator that adds up the price of everything we make and sell. It was created during the Great Depression to help policymakers understand the size of the economy, but even its inventor, Simon Kuznets, warned that we should never use it to measure the welfare of a nation. Think about it. If you cut down a forest and sell the wood, GDP goes up. If there is a massive oil spill that requires billions of dollars to clean up, GDP goes up. If you get sick and have to pay for expensive medicine, GDP goes up. But GDP doesn't care if that forest was cleaning our air. It doesn't care if you are healthy or happy. It measures the activity, not the benefit. It treats the destruction of the planet and the destruction of our health as economic progress. As one famous politician once said, it measures everything, except that which makes life worthwhile. For decades, the world just accepted this. We assumed that if we just got richer, we would automatically get happier. This is known as the Sterling paradox, which suggests that once your basic needs are met, more money does not actually increase your happiness. Yet, we kept chasing the money until a tiny kingdom in the Himalayas decided to rewrite the rules. This is Bhutan. It is a small country sandwiched between giants like China and India. For a long time, it was isolated from the rest of the world. They didn't even have television or the internet until 1999, in the 1970s. Their fourth king made a statement that sounded crazy to economists. He said gross national happiness is more important than gross domestic product. He wasn't joking. He coined the term GNH, or gross national happiness. Now, don't get me wrong. This isn't just about walking around with a smile on your face. GNH is serious government policy. It is a sophisticated approach to development that balances the material and the spiritual. In Bhutan, before they approve a new mining project or a new trade deal, they don't just ask if it will make money. They ask if it will make them happier, if it will hurt their culture, or if it will ruin nature. If the answer to those last questions is yes, they often say no to the money. So how do you actually measure something as invisible as happiness? You can't exactly put it on a scale. To solve this, Bhutan conducts a massive census every few years. Government officials trek 4 days into the mountains to interview families. They don't just ask how much money they make. They ask questions like, how much do you sleep? Do you trust your neighbors? Do you feel safe from ghosts? How often do you meditate? This data is then used to guide the country based on 4 pillars. Think of these as the 4 legs of a table that hold up a good life. First is sustainable development. This means the economy should grow, but not at the expense of the future. It is about having enough to eat and a good home without being greedy. It ensures that the benefits of development reach everyone, not just the people in the cities. Second is environmental conservation. This is a big one. Bhutan is the only carbon-negative country in the world. Their forests actually absorb more pollution than their country creates. Their constitution is quite radical because it actually says that 60% of the country must always be covered in forests. They even have a policy for tourists called high value, low volume, where visitors have to pay a daily fee. This keeps the crowds down and protects nature, while the money goes directly to free healthcare and education for the locals. Third is the preservation of culture. In a world where everyone is starting to look and act the same, Bhutan fights to keep its identity. You can see it in their architecture. Every building, even a new gas station, must be built with traditional designs. They wear traditional clothes to work and protect their local languages and festivals. They believe that knowing who you are and where you come from gives you a sense of belonging and psychological security. And fourth is good governance. This just means the government has to be fair, honest, and actually listen to the people. Interestingly, the fourth king actually abdicated his throne voluntarily to force democracy on his people. He believed that no one person should have all the power, even if that person was him. Now, I know what you are thinking. Is this place a paradise? Is it Shangri-La? The honest answer is no. Bhutan is a real place with real problems. They struggle with youth unemployment. Young people there are on social media, seeing the rest of the world and wanting more than their parents had. This has led to a brain drain, with many educated Bhutanese moving to Australia or the Middle East to find work. The economy is small, and goods can be expensive because everything has to be imported through the mountains. Critics say that focusing too much on happiness makes it hard to build the businesses needed to lift people out of poverty. They argue that you cannot eat happiness. It is a constant balancing act between modernizing the country and keeping its soul intact. The goal of GNH isn't to create a perfect land where no one is sad. The goal is to create conditions where you can pursue happiness if you want to. Despite the challenges, Bhutan has started a global conversation. The United Nations now has a World Happiness Report. Countries like New Zealand and Scotland are creating well-being budgets, spending tax money specifically to improve mental health rather than just boosting the economy. They are realizing that high GDP often comes with high rates of depression and anxiety, and that maybe we have been optimizing for the wrong variable all along. Bhutan taught us that an economy is supposed to serve the people, not the other way around. We might not all be able to move to the Himalayas, but we can all ask the question, how do we measure our own success? Is it by the size of our paycheck? Or is it by the time we spend with friends, the health of our neighborhood, and our peace of mind? Think about your own life for a second. When you look back on your best memories, are you thinking about your bank balance, or are you thinking about a moment of connection, nature, or peace? Maybe the point of progress isn't just to have more, but to be more. As we move forward into a future of artificial intelligence and automation, perhaps the wisdom from this small mountain kingdom is exactly what we need to remember our humanity. Thanks for listening. Let me know in the comments, if you were in charge of your country, what is the first thing you would change to make people happier? I will see you in the next one.